Saints Cigars. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and make some noise. Shout out to the boss in charge. Y'all know Goose is in the house. Goose, what's up, man? We got some family and friends in the building right now. We are live at 250 West Ridge Pike, Limerick, or Royersford, PA, depending on whatever one you like. You know that we are mofos for Rofo. But we got some family and friends in here, man. Could you please, Goose, introduce everybody?
Well, we got the Andre the Giant over here to the left. Let's hear it for Andre the Giant.
Andre. Shout.
Andre the Giant. And Nard, the best friend of Yao Ming. Nard is the best friend of Yao Ming. Yao Ming sends him Christmas cards all the time. And he thanks Nard that they didn't beat him up when he got out of Lone City. But to my right here, we've got the broker in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions. That's Michael.
Michael!
Thanks for having me.
That's when he gets in trouble. Remember, it's Mike. It's Mike.
I'm sorry.
Right.
And to my right is the famous Micky Pegg.
Mickey!
Hey! It's good to be back with you.
Good to be back with you.
We had a 10-year hiatus, and we're back at it together again, right?
Yeah.
10 or 12 years, right?
And he's the owner and creator and co-founder of All Saints Cigars.
Yes, thank you.
All Saints Cigars. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the days when we didn't meet at STG. I had left Middleton and joined STG out of Denmark, and Mickey was leaving and I was coming in. But tell him, Mickey, what you did for CAO.
So it's interesting you said STG because when I actually was there, it was called ST. They hadn't even put the group on it yet. That's when you came in to help with the mass market. But yeah, so my story is I'll try to keep it short. Well, good luck. You ask me what time it is, and I'll build you a watch. But I was very fortunate that I got started in the cigar business while I was in college. I was a junior in college. I played Division III football. So in Division III football, they don't have spring training, and I played lacrosse, and it kind of worked out with my schedule. And it was all in going to school in Washington, D.C. at Catholic University, get an internship. It helps your resume when you go out to market. So I was working for a senator, interning, and I was fetching cigars for him. Finally, Georgetown Tobacco offered me a job. I think they think I had that money. I was just fetching money for the senator. That was his coin that I was going on there on. So I worked there for part-time. I was chasing the dream of going, to Capitol Hill, and time came in, and Davidoff offered me a job. And they were in a broker structured sales force. And a broker is somebody that carries multiple brands, different brand owners or different manufacturers in there. And they were going direct. They hired me, and I got in the field, and I said, so let me get this right. You're going to give me a credit card and a car to go around to tobacco shops. There really wasn't that many lounges at that time. And do what I do anyways, for fun. It's a sport. Just like how you guys got into it. You hop around, exploring new cigars, getting new shops and getting new experiences. And I said, okay. So from there, I had an opportunity to go to CAO. And at CAO, they made me vice president of sales. And I was on the blending team with John Huber, who now owns Crown Heads, and Tim Oscar, who's the family. And it was interesting because I had to take them from a broker sales force to a direct sales force. No worries, Mike. Don't worry. We're not there yet. We're going to be there.
Until you start doing volume.
Right. Yeah.
You're so good. We're gonna put you out the pasture.
All right.
So that's what happened to me. So
Every broker's nightmare.
right. So what happened was we got so big the family sold the business. A year later, Scandinavian Tobacco came in, purchased CAO. A year after that, I walked in the office and it was my last day. But that's what happens. That's business. I was actually going to business school at University of Pennsylvania at the time. I was commuting in on the weekend. I should have known. My professor, who I was friends with, just laughed at me because you didn't see that coming. Because we talked about it in class a million times. So I was living in Nashville at that time when I was working at CAO. And I came back, kind of freaked out, finished up my degree at Penn. A good friend of mine, Peter Sims, brought me in over at Lincoln Financial. I trained on the desk with all these young kids, got my licenses and all that stuff. designations, and a year later to the day, they hired me to put on the field as a wholesaler, which is amazing. So I basically sold mutual funds wrapped in a 401k retirement plan to financial advisors who would take it out to your business owners. To that, I did large scale, middle scale. This is going on. I'm busting my ass, traveling everywhere, and I go, if I'm going to do this and work these hours like I did in the cigar, I'm going to get back in. So around 2017, me and a good friend, Frank Leo, started talking about it. We put the money together and went down to the factories. And in 2018, couldn't get down to the factories because the political climate was so horrible. You didn't want to be down there. Anytime election years in a lot of these countries, you don't want to be down there. So I get down there in 19, maybe over 30 visits, working with the factories and the blends and all that stuff. Probably you're going to ask me about that later, so I'll save it. So I'm all excited. So November 1st, 2019, I said, I'm doing this full time. All Saints Day, by the way, November 1st. And all excited, go down. And
Can I just back up a little bit?
Yeah.
Keep your thought there. I want you to tell everybody about the Oziger family. Tim, Jono, and what a wonderful family it was.
it was a great family.
Yeah.
I talk about this in shows all the time. Is the CAO was one of the most dynamic teams that ever existed, I think. And even other brand owners around, they'll say it again today. You had me in sales. I'm not talking about so much about me. You had John Hubert, who are now Crown Heads on the marketing side. You had all these behind the scenes people that are incredible. The sales force, I used to call them rhinos because they were huge. And they would come around the corner like a crash of rhinos. And and that was really interesting too, because when we took them from a broke to a direct sales force, they said, you're not going to be able to put a sales force together. You're going to get all these retreads and all these used guys and stuff like that. And I go, no, watch this. And I got a lot of fresh new guys. And today they're national sales managers.
Wow.
They're VPs. And they're all just lunatics. Sorry, Terrence, I didn't mean to steal your word. So they are, it was just an incredible sales force. And then when you get to the creativity of Tim Osgood, who was a trained stand-up comedian, came back and did stuff. And the way he did stuff, it was amazing. Why not just tell people what's going on? There was so much marketing. And like, hey, how come nobody's talking about draw testing? Cigars are getting draw tested. Why are we? And, a couple of manufacturers like, how can you talk about that? That's a secret. And I'm like, you think that guy that gets off a freaking plane in Germany, that's where you buy these products from, but sells it to you, he's not going to go to the next factory and go, guess what? I just sold the Flo.
Right.
If Flo bought it, then if Flo got 2, I want 4 now, because everybody's trying to keep up with Flo. You know what I mean? So that happened. And then there's other tobaccos that we used that people wouldn't talk about in their premium cigar because they didn't want it to be perceived. And back then, we thought the consumer was the most educated consumer in any kind of luxury item, whether it's wine, food, cars, whatever. The cigar consumer was then. Today, it's you guys had a bachelor's degree 15 years ago. You guys are all PhDs. Just that's the nature of war and the transparency, social media, the things like you're doing, Flo. Those are the things that it's such an amazing culture and so attractive for me to get back into it.
You were a dynamic leader, Mickey.
Oh, thank you.
CAO. What amazed me about CAO when I left Middleton, and I beg to differ with you, I think that the sales team from John Middleton was a lot better than the CAO. I'm only kidding. But we had a hell of a team at John Middleton with Black and Mild, and we built that to a $380 million brand over the course of
We sold 10% of that on the premium side. That's how small premium is.
But I was amazed with the warehouse at CAO.
Yeah.
And how big the warehouse was. I mean, it was what, about a 15,000 square feet?
Yeah, it's small now compared to what you say. It's unbelievable.
And Jono started his career. He started making pipes. He started making pipes in the 90s, and Tim would tell the story about him.
Meerschaum pipes.
He would etch his initials inside of the pipe, CAO.
That was his quality control marker.
Then he got into a discussion with Peter Stokelby, Peter Stokelby's dad, in the late 90s when the cigar boom was hitting.
Right.
And he said to Stokelby, he said, what do you think about me getting in the cigar business? Stokelby said to him, listen, it's hot right now. Why don't you just take your initials and build a brand? And that's what he did. And what do you think of what Rodriguez did with it at General? I think he did a bang up job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Cheers to
Unfortunately,
Micky.
left now.
Cheers to
right.
Ricky.
So that's interesting because we take that backdrop. So I was just on the show yesterday. They were talking about. They're like, oh yeah, overnight they were a success. No, that company started in 1968 with Pipes and Pipes Tobacco, and the story he told, that brand was called Gold. It was interesting that company bought it because that Gold was built to compete with one of those brands within the pipe community, and because our sales went up 10 times in 5 years, doesn't mean that we were an overnight success. That was 40 years of sweat and tears, and Tim and his sister Eileen, from the time they were a kid, they had to have quality control, package and stuff in the basement of Jono's house. So it was just a dynamic. It was just a great team. And then what happened was, and in all honesty and transparency, when I left, and it wasn't because of me leaving, it became almost like a catalog brand. So a year after I left, they moved it back to Richmond and moved it into the general portfolio. And at that time, now they were not Scandinavian Tobacco anymore. They're Scandinavian Tobacco Group. So Ricky inherited a strong brand, and then he put his nomenclature. It's so funny. People look and go, you used to work at CAO? You were on the blended team? I go, yeah. They're like, that fat head's amazing. I'm like, this is the only fat head that I worked on.
Yeah.
That was all Ricky. And that was Ricky's breakout. Not that he needed it, but he had so many years of training under the greats. I always talk about my training, but he trained with the greats both in the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. So fast forward back to 19. So it comes in and it's February of 2019, the first container to come in on time of our regular production product. We were giddy as shit. It was St. Patty's Day was coming up. What a great day, All Saints. Do a press release.
Yeah.
I just got back to the factory and everything shut down. So what I did literally for 2 months is got my car, delivered product to consumers. And because I won't sell direct, I was running the credit card to the closest retailer that was I was delivered up from Northern Virginia all through New Jersey. And then now here we are. And John was an early adopter, and I really appreciate it. So we're and growing, and if you visit, you get an order. So that was great, an opportunity to grow and bring my king in. And we are on our 5th broker. I'm hopefully officially get a 6th one tomorrow. All great guys. And again, they're like, all brokers, I'm like, these are all fresh, hungry brokers. Like, these guys are talking to me on Sundays. You know, when you're a business owner, there's no day off, right?
Right. There's no day.
These
Never.
brokers I'm working with are treating it like a business because they got other brands that are in there. So when we're communicating, like I got in at midnight last night, you know, from this last tour I did, and I'm taking back off on Monday. And it was just, you know, interesting that these guys were willing to talk to me on a Sunday because I was always like, hey, this is family time. So I got up this morning. My daughter went off to basketball, got in a little bit of trouble. I went to Mass, had a little bite to eat. Mike and his lovely wife picked me up, and we're up here having a great time. And it's good to be home. Maybe it's only for a day, but it's always home.
Now,
And
Micky,
in the meet and flow, that was awesome.
is it true? I want to hear the story how
Oh,
you
boy.
came up with All Saints Cigars. But is it true that you named it after Nard, Andre the Giant, and Flo as the All Saints? Is this? Let me tell you, if you did, you're in trouble.
That's 2020.
You're in trouble.
Right,
You're in
2023.
trouble.
This is the All Saints All-Star team.
Yeah.
This is the All-Star team. We're the best of
You
the
know
best
what?
over
Thanks
here.
for saying that because I'll tell you, one of the things we're growing and you go through growing pains. You know, have you ever heard of Cigars? So, anyways,
Don't
so
go
that's a
there.
little bit of an inside joke. But if you catch it,
Yeah, don't tell nobody.
no, you can tell us what it is. Is that, you know, people are saying to me on social media, like, Micky, you're doing a great job on social media. I'm like, no, I'm not, because I see all these other people, what they do. I'm really just trying to say thank you and regurgitate, but that's enough and make sure I'm tagging the right people doing the right things. So we're going to program, Mike and I, we're talking about on the way up, and we're going to call it Crew, Krewe, kind of play on the All Saints Mardi Gras crew. So we're working on that right now so we can get some stuff out to the people that really are embracing us and giving us the love and attention so we can pay it back to them. So, you know, like, hey, Some of it's pretty elementary. Everybody else is doing, but you got to start somewhere. Let's get our blocking and tackling done, and then we're going to have some more fun things to do. Even Goose knows what some things we're doing with retailers behind the scenes with the 12-count boxes, the 403, stuff like that. And we want to be more progressive with that and say thank you to that. So look for that. That's coming out. Right. And would love to help you guys. Love to have your opinion when we're prototyping some of that stuff. Because our drop dead date to really launch it is July. There's a reason behind that. We got the show coming up and all that stuff. Right. And we're having a retailer kind of deal, but that's offline. We spend no care about that shit. So that's it. That's great. So, All-Star.
That's right. Before we get into it more, let's talk about dedication. How'd you come up with that?
Yes. So it's hilarious that he said, how'd you come up with the All Saints name? Because I thought we didn't have a name of our company. It was actually we trade under Cedar Cellars. So, because we have different branches that come up, we have other projects that we're working on that correlate with cigars, but you have to incorporate them different. I knew and so we filed for dedication or dedicación. And the reason I did that in Spanish, when you spend all that time in the fincas and the farms, these guys don't make that much. And it's all about their family and getting enough money to get what they say protein. They don't say chicken or meat. As long as when I say the family, it's the family. It's the primos, the cousins, the tios, the tias. They're talking protein, like are they eating chicken on Sunday or are they eating beef? There's two types of beefs. There's two types of beef in Nicaragua. There's export and national. So you can imagine the export's probably a little better. And so that's what dedication. And then I want to name each size after somebody and mentor in my life. So I think we were talking about this before.
Yes.
So the first one is our Robusto. I named it Berkey after David Berkebile. I think he just turned 82, 56 years in the business.
Still working every day.
It got me my start. So we named the Robusto Berkey. Now, Commandant was the Toro. I went to Valley Forge Military Academy for a year. It was either there or jail. No, literally. And more importantly, my partner went to the Air Force Academy, another scrappy kid that kind of got out of a weird situation and got himself into the Air Force Academy. And ironically, Mike went to the Air Force. So that was a little nod to him. I loved my Commandant because he got my ass in gear.
Right.
Frank didn't get along with his Commandant so well. So he said everything I learned to avoid him is why he's a successful businessman today. So it's a little bit funny. And he kind of does that tongue in cheek. And then the 6x60, which is the only round, there's another round, the only round cigar, I call everybody Huge. If I can't remember your name or I'm just like, what's up? I always say Huge. And that's it. And I will tell you, the 6x60s, if you see me smoking a 6x60, I'm doing a quality control check. I just not a 6x60 fan, but they sell. It's one of the fastest growing SKUs.
You have one more?
I have dedication.
Okay. Can I have one? I want Nard to try the dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. We got whatever. So, and then we came out with the Churchill. It's a 7x48 that we named Coach, and that was after Mike and all the mentors in our life. Any mentor I've ever had or anybody that I really respected, I called Coach. And the interesting thing is, I played Division III football, but I was 6'5".
Could you 1 second?
Yeah.
Royalties in the building. Justin, can we pull up 2 more chairs, man, and get the brothers to cap up aside? We got G Money. He's part of the show, along with Solo. They just came back from Nationals, which is in Jersey. Gentlemen, welcome. Everybody put their hands together for G and Solo. Guys, this is Michael. This is Mike. And this is Mickey.
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
You're a little easy with that handshake.
Yo, be nice.
Florida. Seriously.
That's my wife right there.
Where's that?
Yeah, so that'll tell you everything.
This is the full crew, man. They were just coming. Cap Alpha Fraternity Incorporated has their we have Founders Day, but that wasn't it. All the initiatives go over in Jersey.
Okay.
And they told me they wasn't coming, but because of Goose, I guess Goose put in the back call, they shot down 95 and they're here because they love All Saints Cigars.
They saw that big Goose
exactly.
They
seen it. Yeah, that's what it was.
They seen it. Come on, scoot over a little bit more.
I was going to get ready to say, somebody pass me a cigar.
All right, so last football, Division III football.
Yeah, so what happened was, and it's a nod to all the coaches and mentors in our life. And it was really interesting because my coach was, because he had some NFL and had a lot of experience and really close with the Redskins. was getting me a tryout, and they were actually farming me out as a long snapper. And I came home and it didn't work out. He goes, "Nah, it's time to get to work and take the football pads off." So that was a little out of that. And then that's it. And then All Saints, actually, the name came as we're sitting there, and one of our buddies said, "Well, Mickey, that's Michael, St. Michael, Frank, St. Francis. How about all?" Because when I was telling the story, this person's a saint, this person's a saint in my life, this person's a saint in my life, and my buddy goes, "Why don't you call it All Saints?" So we called it All Saints, and then what happened was I knew I wanted the shield, but I didn't know where to put the shield. He goes, "You got to take a look at this cross." And he goes, "It kind of looks like the Florida League." Oh, don't talk to Monte Cristo about that. Sorry, Pete Johnson. And it's that cross is St. James Cross, and he's the patron saint of Nicaragua. So that was it was a slam dunk. We went with it, ran with it, and that's it. That's that story.
Wow, that's a great story. So, moving forward, man, Mike, man, I'm so happy for you to be here. Can you please talk about your journey? I know before we go on, we talk about the tobacco and the rap and all the other great stuff. Let's just talk about your story, how you got involved. Shout out to you. Do you have someone who dresses you every day? Because every time I see you, good brother,
she's in the room.
She's right here. Shout out to the wife. She's here. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for his wife. Her name is Cindy. Yo, you keep it funky, man. The hats, you know what I mean? You look like you could be a part of our fraternity or something.
A little story behind it all. So I did 20 years in the Air Force.
Okay.
And then when I retired in 2014, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. I knew I didn't want to work for the military, and I didn't want to work for the government. I wanted to do something different. That chapter's closed in my life. So just so happened, I returned from my last deployment in 2014, and I met my wife. And we met through a cigar group out of New York. So little did I know everything was going to change at that point.
Love at first smoke.
We actually did a show called Love at First Cigar down at Abe down in West Palm Beach on his show. On Smoke Inn, called Love at First Cigar. We were the guests that day. And so because that was our first date, by the way, in West Palm Beach was the Great Smoke.
That's great.
So wasn't exactly sure. My first job out of everything was working for Trader Joe's, bagging groceries for rich old ladies, and I loved it. And it was just fun. It was something that was low pressure, didn't have to do anything. We flipped a coin. I landed in Delaware for to train to be a manager with Trader Joe's. She's from Brooklyn, so she was happy. We moved up from South Carolina, and I just started working at cigar shops part-time. Now, when I was in the military, I worked part-time between deployments, cigar shops. I spent most of my career in Charleston, South Carolina. I worked for every cigar shop in Charleston and the surrounding area. And when I deployed, if I could find somebody selling cigars, I worked for cash. I just loved it. It was passionate. I had a sheik that thought I ran a place. I was a manager once in Qatar. He gave me his order. I said, no, I'm just here to smoke cigars. So I was kind of destined, meet my wife through cigars. And then, when I worked part-time in Delaware, I started seeing a lot of these boutiques I'd never heard of before, but they were really hot. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize the mid-Atlantic region, you're talking DC all the way up, is the hottest region for cigars. Yeah. And there's so many different brands, Skip Martin flourished here, Pete Johnson flourished here. There's so many people that a lot of people had never heard of at that time, 10 years ago, that are really hot now. Mm-hmm. And I think this area was a big part of their growth. So knowing that and seeing that, I ended up, I went to college in Drexel and in Philly. It was an hour commute for me. And I started meeting different people. People saw me when I'm at a cigar shop retail. I love selling. It was fun. It was an adventure. So I had somebody hire me part-time to rep their cigars. I ended up meeting a brand new wholesaler that owned 3 lounges. I worked for him for almost 4 years. My job was to go to the people, the smaller stores that sold cigars, didn't know anything about them, was to educate them and build them up. So we grew that at about 300%. And so fast forward, January 1st, I decided, I think I'm going to do this on my own and branch out. And I have my own company. I named my company Flightline Brokerage. Flightline is where the Air Force works on the ramp. And so, but my determination was, since I've been in this business so long and as a wholesaler, I sold every brand. So I wanted to only represent brands that I appreciated and enjoyed the tobacco, but also more importantly to me is I believed in the owner of the brand.
Right.
And I believed in their mission, because I can't sell anything I don't like. And I tell people all the time, I don't sell a cigar, I sell a story.
Yeah.
You know, more than the cigar. So I can tell his story, his passion, his experience, more than just being, I want to set it aside from being another brand on the shelf.
Right.
And anybody that hires me to sell their cigars, is the exact model that I did. So, and here I am. It's been a hell of an adventure.
Well, tell them about some of your brands. I don't care.
Yeah, so when I worked,
I love that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
so if
He's
you're
got a
familiar,
chance to tell his story, and these brands he's got are all great brands.
yes. So
I could shout them.
So while I worked for the wholesaler, we reached out to what is now known as Aganorsa Leaf, that makes the Lunatic, the JFR, the Spring Leaf, and we were selling a lot of their product to the small guys, and so we said, let's open up a fourth company and be a broker. So not only was I wholesaling, but I was also being a broker. We ended up broker for Aganorsa Leaf, and we grew their product as they grew. Terrence Riley came on board 4 years ago, and I told a story. You know, large landowner in Nicaragua next to Florida Caña Rum. And I ended up doing samples and tastings and stuff, and learned a lot more. I flew down to the factory. I got to learn a lot more, spend time with their blenders. And that set up a foundation for to show how to tell a story of a good cigar and watch it grow. And so they've grown over 100% in this territory in the past 2 years that I was broken for them. So I wasn't going to do this business unless I went in with them, because I've been working with them. So that's my foundation. I also represent a very small brand, but again, I believe in the owner very much. His cigars are called Line of Duty. He's a retired Brooklyn detective. And so
That's
James
like
Brown.
Werther. Yeah, right.
Was
Werther?
Yeah, Tommy Werther.
Tommy Werther.
So his cigars are made by Black Label, Blackworks. You know, so
That's a Pennsylvania
yeah.
company, isn't it?
I think originally, you know, they're out of Texas,
Okay,
and they
sorry
use
about
Pennsylvania tobacco though.
Yeah.
And so Angela and James Brown live in Nicaragua with their family. They're very passionate about it, and his cigars are phenomenal. And then he gives a lot back to the community as well. And the fourth brand that I represent is a gentleman named Enrique Sanchez. He has a brand called Global Premium Cigars. And so the number one brand out of that company is called 1502.
Delicious.
It's an amazing cigar, Placencia made. And that's because he is one of the very few actual Nicaraguans that own a cigar company. You know, everybody else is working in the factories. He owns it. So he's 10 years young into this. He hadn't had a steady rep in a while. So he needed somebody to relaunch his brand and remind people that he's back. He's here. And so my niche is brand building. I love it. Did it great with Aganorsa, and I'll do it great with, you know, the other brands I build. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's great.
Hard work, a lot of fun.
Great.
7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Still a lot of fun.
Flo, he said he knows James Brown. Like, get back, James Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Otis loves it.
Yeah. It's text machine.
Chase
Mike,
Brown
why
said-
you start? Don't start these guys, because they are all lunatics.
Hey.
They're all crazy. And the Goose told them everything they knew.
Yeah.
We're not going to start with
The
them.
crew,
You know, that
man.
lady
The
should put on a
crew.
show.
Yeah, he
They're
did.
here. So they're going to start their book.
You know, I was stationed in
They're gonna
Charleston. I
start
used to go
their
to
stuff.
Augusta, Georgia, whenever he came home. to
Right.
perform.
Yeah.
So, and every family down there will tell you they're related somehow. My ex-wife said that was her third cousin twice removed. So I used to tell people I was related to him
Hey, that was,
distantly.
no, that's a nice story, though.
Who can do Barry White?
Oh yeah, what's her last
You
name?
can sing Barry White?
Okay, I know a lot of sellers.
Hey, baby. That's all I get.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
I gotta have the words
I
in
was
front of
waiting
me.
for
I need a couple more. I need a couple more bourbons, and I vamp it.
Yeah,
no.
don't get me
I
talking about
can't hit
Charleston.
that note.
We can
22
make that
years, I
happen.
talked about Charleston for years.
Flo, you don't mind if I have fun today, do you?
Nah, man, come
This
on,
is my
let's have
day
some
off.
fun. What?
I'm in here
That's
hanging
what
out with
we
you.
do. That's what we do here. We have fun. Let me see if I can.
This is
find
not even a show. This is like a
Nah.
typical hangout right now.
It is. That's what it's supposed to be, right?
A bunch of wise asses
Yeah.
beating up each
You know,
other. I love it.
The
Who
joke
kind of like
is-
cigars a little?
Yeah. Oh, I got to tell you this. So my wife, I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida. Went to Catholic, married like Philly, well,
We
Havertown.
won't hold it against you.
Havertown. Daytona Beach is a great place. And Havertown girl. And it's so funny. She's got that Delco accent. and they all started the Tierneys. They kind of migrated from South Philly to Darby, Upper Darby, to Havertown, and Jimmy lives in a beautiful place in the city. He goes, Mick, I call people with that really Philly and Delco accent. I go, no, what do you call them? He goes, hoagie mouth. You got that hoagie mouth.
What?
Water. Did you see the T-shirts, the baseball T-shirts? They say clear water. Yeah, with W-O-D-D. Yeah.
So where do you see your brand going, Mickey? I mean, you going to stick? Are you online at all now, or are you just strictly?
No. So we're online in the sense of that if that retailer has that capability.
Oh, okay.
So no, we're not the big houses. It's just not something. Even if we wanted to do it and it didn't ruffle the feathers, we don't have the capacity. So again, we're talked about a little bit earlier. We got a 6th broker, hopefully that we'll sign the deal with on tomorrow. And I do have a couple of bigger places, but I won't mention them. They're great guys. Totally approved. But we're talking about your place today. I got room for one more another good guy that understands mapping.
Right.
So not to get too technical with you guys. But 2023, yeah, a little bit bigger. And the other thing too is we announced that we were going to raise prices in January, and then we backed off that. So because there's an impression right now that we're everywhere. Right now, we're not. We're in a lot of places. We've had a tremendous amount of healthy growth, but there's a lot of runway, a lot of places we need to be.
Keep ready.
I need the words though. Oh baby, get that lingerie out. I got the jealous. Cognac's flowing like water.
That was pretty good, man. That was pretty damn good.
That's my cigar voice. So that's So with that, we have in 2 years we put 4 lines up the market. So and here in the Mid Atlantic, talk about it. So the Mid Atlantic, like anything in sales in the Mid Atlantic, you got to realize everything's about density and population. Right? So 30%. Population is basically in that kind of DC corridor up to New Jersey.
Hot area too.
Yeah. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
Selling hats, selling
a little bit of everything.
Whatever you're doing. Yeah. That's what it is, and that's why. So it's like the old 80-20 rule. So we got a lot of places we got to get shelf. Like we have 4 brands, and the third one now is winning awards. This one won an award. That one won a bunch of awards. We got another one coming up. So I have friends that I know they're going to carry my stuff. They haven't even got the dedication of St. Francis on the shelf yet.
Wow.
Yeah,
But Goose does.
Goose is going to have it. But listen, Goose is old school with a new school mentality. You don't walk through my door, you ain't getting an order.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Right. So that's what this all is about. That's what we had an opportunity for us to hang out and talk, and that's what it is. And then, with having beautiful people, I didn't hire Mike. Mike and I, we're together. My whole thing is, especially in a broker standpoint, especially close to my backyard. I work for Mike. I used to say when I had direct reps,
I ain't paying you.
I would tell my when I sold mutual funds, and then in the cigar business before when I had reps, I said, listen, I work for you. Don't let this relationship change where you work for me, because you might better put your resume together. So I'm an extension of his sales force. South of him, I'm an extension of Zeb's sales force. We get the guy in New England, I'm an extension of that. The other guys, it's a little bit different just because I can't get there as much and stuff. The Mid Atlantic is very important to anything. If you're launching a brand, thank God when I came into the business as a rep, I got to know this area. So they saw my progression. So that was a kind of a step up of getting into the business with also knowing the background of it.
Right.
So
just to put it out there, all of us, man, we work for Nard.
There you go. We don't get paid either.
We don't get paid at all. We're about 6-7 months still waiting. Still waiting for our checks. You know what I mean?
We're about to ski match.
Which is the 3 biggest lies? I walk in here about checks in the mail, and I love you. I try to say it off mic.
Yeah.
Well, Mickey and Mike,
It picked it up though.
before we open it up, man, to the rest of the lunatics, let's talk cigars now. Let's talk about the wrap. Let's talk about the leaf. Let's talk about the tobacco. Let's get deep into All Saints Cigars and tell us how you came up with the whole blending and everything.
Right. So the first thing that I like to talk about is the factory that it's made in.
I need that close up, Jess.
The factory that all my stuff's made in. I have an exclusive relationship with Rocky Patel.
Okay.
And he has
Shout out to Rocky.
Yeah. He's got his production. He's got production in Honduras, all over Nicaragua, but his one particular factory that he owns, it's called Tabacusa, and that's an acronym, obviously. And that factory has become a celebrity in itself.
Where's that factory at? Because Nard has to take us. You have to put us on the plane and take us.
Well, don't go right now. I just was down there.
Don't go right now?
Oh, wait for this whole testing and stuff.
Is it in Dominican Republic?
No, this is all Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, okay.
Esteli, everything I make right now is in Esteli, Nicaragua. So the Tabacusa factory, yeah, you guys want to come down? Let's
don't threaten us with a good time because we got guys here be like, I'm ready now.
Right.
I'm back to pack.
Let's
go.
go.
The next 60 and 90 days, you could hopefully you could start planning to go down there. So that factory, what they're doing in there is amazing. The library of tobaccos that I have access to. And the beautiful thing is the person I work with there is Amika Perez or Amilcar Perez. I call him Amika. And his cousin, Herbert Castro. I actually work with Herbert a little bit more on the blending. Is if I'm working on something, because I'm in Rocky's factory. So I have the capabilities of working with this quality control system, these incredible pairs of rollers or torsadors that they have there that are absolutely stunning and amazing. And then it'd be like walking into Wolfgang's kitchen, having access to his sous chefs and all of his ingredients, and I have my own interpretation of it.
Just hook it up, put it together.
Right. What happens is though, if I get something too close to what Rocky's doing, I don't even talk. Rocky and I, we talk more about FDA and politics and everything else. And sometimes he helps me out from an imaging standpoint and a marketing standpoint. But if I'm getting too close, they tell me to back off. They'll take the leaves off the table the way I do it. So we all have our blending. Yeah, because I don't want to have something on the market that has my nomenclature on it, and then he's out there. You don't want that. You know, it's hard to begin with. So that's the ability, and that's what I love. When we came to the market, this first cigar, it's not unusual. That was a blend that I worked on in my old days, but actually had a Sumatra wrapper on that got declined, which happens when you have a team, right? Especially when you work for the person that's an incredible genius, creative mind. So when I went down and worked on that blend, early 19, I had a Sumatra wrapper. I went with the San Andres wrapper. Mm-hmm. And I started to learn the San Andres wrapper. We really didn't use it that much. Yeah. It's in the Mexican Valley, San Andres Valley in Mexico. What's critical about it is we buy that tobacco. I say we, Rocky, and I purchased through him, from the Tarrant family. And if you're not familiar with the Tarrant family, they are like the Fuentes of Mexico. Yeah. To kind of make it easy. Mm-hmm. What's happening in that valley, everybody's saying, I got a San Andres wrapper on it. I have a San Andres wrapper on it. And you probably remember 25 years ago when the I don't call it the boom, because nothing ever, I call it the explosion, right? People were turning plantain farms in the Dominican Republic, they were turning them into tobacco farms, fincas. The problem with that is you need different ingredients, nitrates, there's all in that soil. There's a raping of the soil that happens and stuff that has to go back into it. So people were really putting out some garbage tobacco. They would grow it, process it, and put it in a cigar. Not even blend it. So that's what's really special about that. On the inside of that tobacco, one of the tobaccos I talk about, I don't like to give the whole recipe. It's called Jalapa. That's with a J. And that region tends to produce sweeter tobacco sweet, not sugar sweet, like a tobacco sweet. You know, when you work with the palate, you work with the tasting wheels, you're going to get that. What you're going to see from Jalapa in the future is there's different characteristics of Jalapa. Even the consumer is going to be able to differentiate the different regions of Jalapa. That's how progressive that area is. So that gives it tobacco sweet. And we were very fortunate when that cigar came out very early, Half Wheel rated it, which they would never do with a young brand. I think Brooks and those guys gave it a look, And they don't give out any free rides because I'll tell you about the St. Francis in a second. They don't give any free rides. I got a 91. And the funny thing is, I got it on August 7th. And you know why I know? It was my anniversary. I finally shut down, took my wife to Fleming's to have a nice dinner because, eating McDonald's for a year or whatever. And my phone's blowing up. And I'm like, the one time I put my phone down, come on, give me a break. They're like, have you seen the rating? And I go, no. And I see the rating. I'm like, it came out at 6 o'clock. It's 7:30. Like, I'm eating dinner. So that was very fortunate. And that helped us get a force multiplier. And I started doing all these shows and all this stuff, just catching up with old friends, bringing me in and doing that. And then we came to market with this, the St. Francis. And the St. Francis, which won Cigar Authority, I was just on the show yesterday, Ash Quarterly, Cigar Dojo. I got a bunch of second places, which I affectionately call the Ricky Bobby Awards. Matter of fact, the first one to give me one, I took the picture, sent it back, put a picture of Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, and sent it back to him. I like to dedicate this to my smoking ass hot wife. In Deer Park, Roy. Shake and bake. So, with that
Solo don't start.
So that dedication on a strength scale, not body and flavor. I know some people say body. I don't like to say body and flavor. That's a 5. The reason I don't like to say it, and I end up doing it, because some people don't hear it. They hear what you say, don't really understand it. But that on a strength profile, that St. Francis is about a 6.5. And the key ingredients I think are in that one is on the wrapper. We use an Oscuro wrapper, so that's a primary, so I create a dark Maduro. This is actually considered a Maduro too. I just don't refer to it as a Maduro. That has, and that's another thing. When you go to your tobacconist, you see a dark cigar, doesn't always mean it's heavy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And not all light cigars. Look what Lito's doing in the Dominican Republic. Those things will knock you on your rump. So, inside there's a tobacco I love to use. It's called Condega. And Condega comes from a region of Nicaragua. They'll give you a lot of salt, so you have a salt forward on that. You get that salt forward flavor. So,
That's
I kept that concise. Yeah. Well, I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, but yeah.
No, it's all great information. Let's talk about how did you come up with the labeling and everything else, as far as because it's great packaging.
Thank you.
The guys really enjoyed the whole cases or whatever the case may be. How important is that selling once you come up with your labeling and your packaging, as far as selling inside?
Well, I was actually trained by the best people in the industry, between Davidoff and CAO. It's very important. And the way I kind of like to look at it is, if you had a retail store, right? And it was the ideal retail store, not a lounge, retail store, to walk around the humidor, boom, 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 and gaze. And nobody was in that store. Nobody ever stole a thing. They pick up the cigar and then it automatically go into the register. What's going to sell that cigar? What are you doing? Again, especially when you're a new brand, the new brand needs to have about 3 solid turns before it will show longevity. It's got to, just because it's a good cigar or a great cigar, if nobody knows about it, it's like when I got in, everybody was talking about last year as one of the greatest cigar years in history. You must have did really well. I go, what are you, an idiot? I was behind the curtain. Nobody knew who my brand was. Because we were behind the curtain, because the way you were getting it at the curbside or going in. So what are you doing to have that imaging? So if you look about the dedication, you see a lot of Davidoff influences with that whiteness and stuff like that. If you talk about my blending process, a lot of that influence comes from, even though I learned the tobacco from the Dominican side, all my biggest influences were from Nicaragua, Nestor Plasencia, Perdomo, God bless his soul, Mr. Tarano. Those people, that's where I learned that from. So you'll see that. And then the font is actually, they call it Nashville poster. It's an old school kind of font they use for the basic font. So, yeah, so that has a lot to do with it. I was a little nervous because I went to Catholic University, All Saints, across. I'm like, they're going to think I'm some kind of evangelist or something, which is fine. I just don't particularly, I go to church or whatever, but I also drink a lot of bourbon, so it's like, whatever. So, and I don't pass judgment on anybody. I don't care what you are. I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm 52 years old. I grew up in a time when I think things were getting a little bit better. So we still have a long ways to go, but I think we're on the right way. So that's where I'm at with that. So I think it's very important. It's got to be attractive to both men and women. So we would say on the manufacturing business, 10 years ago, you want something that's going to be attractive to a woman around Christmas time, but masculine enough that the man would keep it.
Got you.
Because we would guesstimate, you would give me a better percentage, 20 to 30% of the buying power at Christmas time were wives, girlfriends, whatever. But now they're smoking. It's the fastest growing outside the African American segment. It's the fastest growing segment in the industry.
Yep.
And they're almost, so it's, if you saw a lady in a lounge 10 years ago, you're like, what's up with her?
A lot of female
Now it's like
lounges now too, especially like
look at
Baltimore and
look.
God rest Mina, she just passed away.
Yeah, God bless her.
But I see it on the road a lot of female-owned lounges. And it just people underestimate the demographics of that.
Yeah. So I was a little worried because I obviously have a lot of Jewish friends,
Right.
and they're like, I don't care. Like we could say saint, whatever. A saint is a saint. It's a universal vernacular for somebody that's a good person, right? I said about the cross, like I don't care about the cross. We cared about the cross. We invented the cross. Remember, we were first.
Right.
So, except Sammy Phillips, he's the only guy that busted my balls, but he was just doing it to bust my balls. So that's where we're at, and it's very exciting. But thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, before we turn
And
it
it takes
over,
a team.
it does take a team. Before we turn it over to Saint Goose, we're going to turn it over to Saint Gary. Gary is our aficionado when it comes to stuff like that. He's going to ask you guys a plethora of great questions. Gary, get ahead and give them the Gary T lowdown when it comes to cigars.
So, Flo, before you get into that, I'm just here for the cigars today.
Okay.
I had a rough.
I knew it.
We're not going to. My mind right now is not in that place. But this is one of yours also.
Yes.
I do like this.
Thank you.
Now this is what
That's the St. Francis.
the St. Francis. What's the Bonum?
Bonum.
Bonum. I thought it was Bonum.
Yeah.
You've been in it. You know what you've been thinking about the whole weekend.
Yeah.
So Bonum.
Shout out to
No, what we did is
Shout out to
that
Stephanie.
St. Francis. It means, it's actually Pat's at Bonum, which means peace and goodness.
Right.
And the reason we play around with Latin on the packaging,
He said
is so
bonum.
you Google it.
Right.
So because Latin kind of falls into that kind of thing, so we put Latin. Like we are our original Latin term that kind of encompasses our whole company, Davius. People are like, what does this mean? And it meant Lord. I say the Lord hates a coward, but it doesn't. It actually is Lord hates a coward. It was the Lord. It would be even longer. It's because everybody said it was the worst time to get in the business. So and that's when anytime anybody gets in any business, it's always the worst time to get in the business. Well, especially with us, the FDA. So that we put that. So that's the Pope's piece and piece of business.
I got you. I'm not Catholic, so
Yeah, it's Latin.
no, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
still
don't
not.
speak Latin.
I'm still not Catholic, but
yeah.
We'll start
So,
just-
I'm
Go ahead.
not going to start.
Get hit.
But no, I do. I like your packaging on this. I think this is actually pretty cool.
It's not meant to be Catholic.
No, I know that. I was busting your balls a little.
Oh yeah.
It seems
I
like
love
you
it.
like getting your balls busted, so I figured.
I do when they have a full head of hair, and never
Yeah,
mind.
but this looks very kind of Romanesque. If as far as your packaging goes, like you have a little shield
I'm
and
getting
you're
the
about to fight.
Templar Knights, which I didn't even think
Yeah,
of.
yeah, I think this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Solo. Get ahead, man. I know that you're still asleep. Thank you so much for making it down 95, man. I hope you guys had a great time tonight. Last night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. You know what I mean? Did y'all check in yet? Did you check in?
Checking where?
Oh, shucks.
Yeah,
Sugar, honey,
she's out there.
you did? You good?
Yeah.
Y'all straight like 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
All right. Talking
She's out at
cigars.
brunch, man. I'm great.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bonos.
Bar.
Okay. Solo.
With all of the brands that you have, do you have a particular favorite that's like your go-to?
That's a double
Well,
question.
yeah,
I want
it
to
is.
ask the same question to Mike, too. Mike, you answer the question first,
Uh,
and then let's go to Mickey.
it's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I like the original dedication line.
Okay, why?
Just my palate. I mean, I like the it's just a really good balance of the I guess the spice. I'm very familiar with jalapa tobacco because of Aganorsa.
Yeah.
Extremely familiar with it.
We
So-
supply our, I believe, from
So I do tastings with the actual leaf, so I can pick up on that right away. And I think that's one of the reasons I like that, because I definitely taste it in there. And so it's just nice. And I don't normally smoke 60, but I like the 60. It burns really nice. I was smoking one on the way to pick him up, and I love a cigar where the ash will stay. I mean, everybody likes that, but even when the window's down and everything else is still staying, it just makes it cooler smoke. So I would say out of the line right now, that's what I enjoy.
Mike, can you do Nard a favor? Can you explain to Nard, along with all the people out there, they don't really understand what a 60 is. Can you explain the difference between a 60?
Yeah.
Could you just break it down?
Well,
Because
just
he's brand new to the
ring
game.
gauge.
I mean,
Gauge,
why
so
you keep
you're-
touching me? Security? You keep touching me, Mike. I kept telling you, can you break it down, and then we'll go to you.
Yeah, the 60 is. I mean, he calls it huge, but yeah, every manufacturer has probably in their repertoire a 60 ring gauge, and they might call it the 6x60. That's what it really is. The 6x60 is the standard, but a lot of people have different names that'll fit their branding. Like Aganorsa calls theirs the Titan, and other people call it something else. And I mean, it's just different things. And then some people play with the ring gauge a little bit. They go down to a 58, which is classified different. But the 6x60 is kind of like an industry standard for coming with that size. This is what you're smoking right now.
It's 58.
Yeah, it's 58, right?
58.
So just the minor differences in that ring gauge will make a big difference on the packaging, the burn, everything. So, but I like my favorite sizes are more of a Robusto or Petite Robusto, because I like the concentrated flavor. And so if it is a 60, it would have to be something that, for the reasons I just described. I do a lot of driving time, a lot. I mean, it's nothing but music and audiobooks, whatever, and a lot of road time. So I like a cigar that I can enjoy, for that entire 2-hour drive or 3-hour, whatever I'm driving. And so, especially if I'm not doing multiple stops, and that's a perfect cigar.
Wait. You smoke while you're driving?
All the time.
Inside of your car?
Yes, have to.
Most industry people do.
Really?
Yeah.
St. Goose, do you smoke in your car?
You smoke in the car? Yeah.
Wow, do you smoke
in your car?
We had 3 of us smoking in a car with Cindy on the way up.
Really? So when it comes to cigars, I'm 6'5". I'm about only 230. Would I be?
You ain't been right.
Would I be a 58 or would I be a 60, Mike?
Listen, I've seen extremely petite women smoke 80 ring, and I've seen the biggest guys in the world. You go to like a bike fest, either Harley or you go to Myrtle Beach. They got 2 bike fests down there. Bike weeks.
How do you know? How the hell do you know?
Anymore, but it's bike week. And yeah. So I've seen some of the biggest guys smoke a Petite Robusto.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't really determine. I mean, I guess new smokers or people. When I was in retail, people would come in, hey, I want the biggest cigar you got.
Damn.
And I said, do you really? Why? I'm curious. Why? Why would you want that?
I seen it on TV.
And it's just, and for the newer smokers, they'll come in and because they want to impress somebody or they're a big guy or whatever, and they haven't really retained their palate. But the people that regular cigar smokers, like weekly cigar smokers, regular consumers, if they're smoking a 60 ring gauge, it's because they like it. They probably smoke multiple brands with the 60s, and then they'll have their go-to top 3 of 60 ring gauge. And so, but it's either, Toros I'll smoke if it's handed to me. I enjoy it. But, if it's a Petite Robusto small and he's coming out with something soon that's going to be smaller, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it a lot. And, in the 60.
Same question, Mickey.
Yeah, so I'll just finish up that 6x60 a little bit. So when you hear 6x60, that 6 is the inches. And the ring gauge is
Size matters.
Right. My wife's still married me.
Congratulations.
But I can do the Chinese alphabet calligraphy. A, B.
Congratulations.
And the 60, it's on.
I don't know how you do it, Cindy.
It's 64ths. So that was an inch diameter on a jeweler's ring gauge. So I don't particularly smoke 6x60s. If you see me smoking one of my 6x60s, I'm doing a quality control check. One of the biggest advantages you get out of a 6x60, a couple of them is that you're going to get a cooler smoke, like an oven, right?
Yeah.
Two, you're going to get a lot more smoke. I think it's usually always priced the best value from that standpoint. I just don't like that much going on, and that's where everybody's different. So also smoking cigar to your size, I don't believe in that either. You smoke what you like and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So so my favorite cigar, that's like, what I want. I have 4 lines of market right now, and I think when you look at them all, if you look at them in the humidor, you can look at them and say, hey, listen, I know that those are Mickey's kids, right? But they all have their own identity. And also we have different strength profiles in there and different kind of taste profiles. So we're trying to make something that we like, because the more you smoke, the more you want to do other things. You're not necessarily always looking for that new cigar, but you're going outside. Some people just get in the comfort zone and they stay in that lane. So I do gravitate. I've been gravitating to our Colorado a little bit lately, just because that's new to the market. It's getting a lot of attention. And Habano, but also it's like a third of the time I smoke what I want in my portfolio, a third of the time I'm smoking for quality control, and a third of the time I'm trying to smoke some of my friend's stuff because I do and I like other stuff.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. There's a little R&D. There's a little research and development going on that too.
Yeah,
getting ideas, because you find and you gravitate to tobaccos that you like, and sometimes I can get it out of one of my buddies, and sometimes I can't. There's always a couple things going on that they'll never reveal. So.
Andre the Giant, any great questions for All Saints?
I'm smoking a 60.
Yep.
It's a 58, right?
No, that's a 60.
It's 60. Why he get the 60? I get the 50.
You got a 60?
I got 60?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because that's Andre the Giant, so we got to stay,
Right.
All right, go ahead, Dre. I apologize.
See?
You taking my time?
No, I apologize, man. You only got, you only got 2 minutes and it's ticking.
Well, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm really into it right now. I'm halfway through it. It's just a good stick right here. But Mike,
Yes.
I love that hat, man.
Thanks, brother.
I'm
There's
a
a
hat-
story behind this too.
I'm a hat guy,
Yeah.
man, and I he was here last week. I had my hats on, so
Yeah.
that's a really nice hat.
Yeah, the
It's
story.
really
I did a year in Afghanistan, and anybody does any branch does 9 months or more. The military will send you anywhere you want to go in the world for 2 weeks. Their ticket, they pay for it. I didn't have my passport, so I had a U.S. stateside. So I rented a beach bungalow in Venice Beach, California, get away from everything. And I'm walking down. I'm actually still in my uniform. It was a long 3 days getting there. I look like a homeless guy, scraggly and everything. And so I'm walking down to Venice Beach, and I'm actually buying clothes to wear while I'm there. And I walk into this hat store called Titanic Hats, and they have thousands and thousands of hats in there. And I found out later, a lot of your Hollywood elites buy their hats from there. So
A true haberdashery.
right, yeah, true haberdashery. So the guy, they call him Carl the Hat Doctor. Now, I'd never worn a fedora in my life. Now I had a lot of the what do they call the cabbie hats, or the ones you pull down.
Yeah, Gary wears those.
Yeah. So, but I'd never worn a fedora. I just, the guy said, yeah, you could do it. And he went through probably about 40 hats. And I bought my first one. I still have it. It travels with me in the car. And my dad flew in there, but he'd never been to California. So my mom and dad, I treated them for a couple of days in Cali. And my dad bought one too. We have matching hats. And ever since then, I just started, finding better quality hats. I don't have kids, but I'd like to hand it down to somebody, my nephews or something. It's like buying some nice boots or so my wife got into hats because of me. She has a collection of fedoras.
Cindy, you wear hats? Y'all wear matching hats in different colors?
Similar. Yeah. We shop together.
Real quick, Kevin Bristow said hello from your school days.
Well,
So he's watching, family and friends are watching.
Senor.
Yeah, so make sure
Senor gave her away at the wedding.
Oh, it makes sense now. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
and if you know Ade McCoy from New York's Growing Sexy up there, he's the co-founder of that group. He was the Danny McCoy on Eddie Ortega's Wild Punch series. He was in our wedding as well. A lot of New York cigar smokers were. It's a whole cigar wedding. It's great.
I have a fedora,
Mhm.
a shade darker than that.
No kidding.
Yeah. We're actually going to have a hat lady on our show soon.
Nice.
Yeah. So she
What
coming
day
out.
is that? When is that?
I mean, a couple
good.
weeks.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
But
Flo,
we'll
send me a text. We're
okay. We'll let you know whatever the case.
Hopefully, if I'm here.
I hope that you are here.
So do I.
Yo, don't let Please don't let Solo see them. There's some hot glasses. I'm checking y'all out. Like I didn't ever. I'm talking about you, Mickey. I'm talking about your glasses, man. They hot.
Yeah, I like that.
Where you get them at, man? Oh wait, guys, wait. All right, I know you got 30 seconds, but you got to recognize real when real is due.
So where did you get your glasses at? I really like those. Sometimes I have to shut them up.
Stealing my time. Now, see, I said I was gonna be nice today. He's kicking.
You don't gotta be nice.
Hey, G.
What is this, Black Congress? Everybody fight for airtime?
Hold on.
Wait. This guy, man. I told you, Goose.
Now they were all laughing.
I told you. I know. I told you.
I came in my Crocs.
Wait.
I didn't know black folk wore Crocs, man.
Yo, give me that.
So we got a white guy wearing a fedora and black guys wearing Crocs.
There you go.
That's America.
It's a change.
Since you put up hat.
Mickey.
Hey, Just, could you bring up that picture of me and my brown fedora?
No, that's not doing that, man. That's not.
Can't do it.
They just hate on my
We're not. Yeah, this is.
Hold on.
Where you going? Where you going now? He's an idiot. I told y'all don't let this dude, man.
See, the problem is, I don't eat meat.
A little
right?
coutier.
So
I don't eat meat.
So Mike and Mickey, real quick, we worked our asses off in order to go and get different sponsorships to go and sponsor the show. Shout out to Frank from Luciano's. Frank came on a couple of weeks ago. He came in. Shout out to Luciano. So Frank's on the show. We're talking about pasta. We're talking about meatballs. Right. We're talking about strombolis. We're talking about we do all this stuff, man. So Frank was like, I'm gonna sponsor the show each and every Sunday. I'll drop the pizza sauce. So we got pizzas for you guys. We got strombolis or whatever. Yeah. And this jerk off over here talking about, I'm now all of a sudden he want to be a vegetarian. So now that's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's not new. I'm a pescatarian.
All right, whatever the case may be. So
I just don't eat beef and pork and chicken and turkey.
I have to eat fish. We had that conversation earlier.
We worked so hard to get a sponsor. You know what I mean?
Look, no alcohol. I'm not even drinking alcohol.
You want some of that too?
Yeah, because you drank all my damn Nearest last week. I was coming back here thinking that I was going to see a bottle of Nearest.
No, I'm on the fitness thing right now because of you.
All right, guys, listen. Let's go back to cigars. Nard, it's your turn. Go ahead, Nard.
I will burn you. Mike and Mickey, first of all, I think the history you gave was excellent. I appreciate that. I'm sure people in the audience as well. Now, I've only been in cigars probably about 6 years. And then how long? Hey, Justice, kill that. No, how long? I'm not saying it again. So, but in that short time, what I've noticed is that there are a lot of women in cigar lounges and smoking cigars. Yes. Shout out to your wife. Why is that? Why do you think it has grown in that group?
Somebody broke the mold.
It's your wife, but we know that.
I mean, I'll say she's been smoking for 29 years.
There you go.
So she's from Brooklyn.
You beat his 6 minutes of being
and I think, like again, to play on the Mid-Atlantic, I think this part of the U.S. Broke that mold. Okay. Well, I believe we have a lot more. You have the concentrated areas and stuff. You have a lot of professional women, and that just wanted to be part of something bigger. I can't speak to it. I'll end up mansplaining, and so I've learned that term. And so,
manscaping.
We're mansplaining. I'd rather be manscaping.
We also got to look at what happened. Like you got Cynthia Fuente, you have EP's daughter, Diana Silvis had one of the top out of Chicago, been around forever. And then there's some of those original, tobacco shops that had a lot of what I think is great is you're seeing African women that are in the game. You see, it used to be military would take their pension and they would buy into tobacco shops. Now you're seeing more frontline responders doing that. And I tell you, from a salesman standpoint, ex-cops, ex-military, firefighters, they're okay. No, I'm just kidding. They tend to be, they're going to go to work. They love it. They're passionate about it. And you're seeing women, these women, look at Kay, there you go. So
Shout out to K Cigars.
Yeah.
And
All right.
that debacle that's been going on in the city, she's like, thank God I got in the cigar business. You know?
Right.
Do you think a lot of the flavored cigars had something to do with a lot of women smoking the cigars?
I don't think so. I think flavored cigars is not gender or race pervious, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people had a flavored cigar to get started with,
Right.
whether it's
Absolutely.
men, women, whatever shade you are, or what what day of the church, what day of the week you go to church on, had nothing to do with it. I think but flavors influence everybody, not just women.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you a lot of my guy friends or dudes, their first one, mine was a flavored cigar.
Yeah.
Black and Mild, the guy was from here. It was a Black and Mild. So
What is Black and Mild? Never heard of that brand before in my life.
Goose, who's the black and mild?
Nah, you know what? It's funny because
it's a Black 28.
my uncle smoked cigars, but I don't know who the hell they were. It was just a brown cigar roll. So this is back in the 70s. You know, as a kid, you always, when you see adults do certain things, don't leave those things laying around
Right.
because at some point it's going to disappear.
Were you smoking cigars at 6?
No, man, I was a teenager.
5.
Was that the Philly Blunt cigar?
No, they definitely weren't fully blunts, bro.
Oh.
But no, it's funny. I don't. So kind of coming back to the women's story, I think why they're in the cigars. I think you touched it. They're professionals. They're making more money. They're doing things. They're decision makers. So they're involved in so many other things that they weren't necessarily involved in before. So it's easy for them to gravitate to something that they feel comfortable with. I mean, I've seen women out golfing with a cigar in their hand. So it's just natural growth and natural change.
Guys, can we please put our hands together to all the professional women out there and the cigar smokers? Please.
Hey, Flo.
Hey.
There's one other thing you got to remember. All these guys that were smoking cigars, they had daughters.
I have 3 daughters.
And if the daughters are, if they're following behind their fathers, they're going to smoke cigars.
Well, you talk about CAO. Before Tim got involved, Eileen was actually the face of the company.
Okay.
Doing that, yeah. So, and then they named a flavored cigar after her, but that was kind of the bump. But she was the one. EP's wife, our daughter. Then she went up to law school, and then ended up coming back. Yeah, there's a lot more. I'm just don't want to clog your time.
All right, let's talk about cigars. Let's do one more table. Then I'm going to let All Saints Goose talk. What made you guys get into the cigar business? Both of you guys. What made you wake up one day and say, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I'm passionate about it." Maybe not making a lot of money right away. It takes time. But what made you want to go
Originally?
Originally.
My original job was I fell in love with my wife.
What's your wife's name?
Her name's Kimmy.
Kimmy! Shout out to Kimmy.
You might be watching. And I was chasing politics, and the thing you would get a killer job for 9 months in Capitol Hill. You'd actually make a decent amount of money, but it'd take you 3 months to get to the next one. And one of the ways they kind of took care of you, all right, your job is up in 3 months. Start looking. And I wanted a little bit more stability. And then Davidoff approached me, offered me a job in November of '97 to start in January of '98. I went out and bought a ring, and I proposed to my wife on December 19th. And I had that background from working part-time in a tobacco shop, and that's where that happened.
Wow.
And I think I told you the reason I got back in. I never really wanted to leave. It wasn't my choice to leave. And that was the Great Recession was going on, and there was no place for me to go at the capacity that I wanted to do what I was doing.
Goosey.
Yes.
Yeah, ask that cigar question, man, about All Saints.
Well, Micky's a great owner. He's got a passion for the industry, obviously. He loves the aspect of blending, which personally I never got into. I've always been in sales and marketing. I've always been into packaging and the promotion of products. But blending has never been a passion of mine. I just want to sell the cigar what it takes. I would say that if and at Goose's, when a woman walks into our humidor, the first way to insult her is to bring her right over to the flavored cigar stand.
Right. Yeah.
We never, Brian and John Jr. and myself never do that. We talk about cigars to women, and I always joke around. Whenever a good-looking woman like Sweet Melissa comes in or Joanne comes in, I always say it's nice to have a good-looking person in here. I always joke around with that. And we love women in our lounge. We love to have women in our lounge and as part of our events also. But as this podcast grows, we'd like to have you guys back many, many times.
Yeah, let's talk off air about some other stuff too. We'll have some fun. I got a couple great ideas.
And I know the audience, we got a nice crowd out there, but I will shout out a deal on Mickey's. We only carry the Dedication right now, but we're going to bring in St.
We'll get them whatever
Francis.
they want.
Whatever you want, you just talk to Mike. With the great hat on, you talk to Mike, and we'll give you 10% better than the gold locker members deal. We'll give you 30% off a box if you're interested today. 30%. And we're going to have a website soon that we'll be able to lead people to. And
So if he's giving 30%, he's freaking working me. Listen, I'm married to a tyranny. I know this passive aggressive game.
I saw him put his head down. I knew it was coming next.
But we love All Saints, and let's have a round of applause for our producer over there. Let's
Yeah, shout out to his girl. Yeah, he's.
The only good-looking guy in the room's off camera. Well, except for Flo.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, listen, I've been on the road for the last 12 days. I'll say it.
That's what's up. Gary, any last closing questions as far as All Saints is concerned? Cigars. As you tearing up your all your vegetables over there, man. I'm glad that he thought about you, man. Last night we were DJing last night together, and shout out to Lou and Choose and Andre DeJohn says, "Hey, I'm gonna wear my Crocs, and I'm gonna bring Gary. I'm gonna bring Gary some vegetables and some fruit and some." And yes, he did. I'm glad you showed up, brother. He couldn't wait. He couldn't wait.
Oh, I know. That's my dude. My man.
So you're gonna be a vegetarian too?
I'm gonna give it a try.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Trying to get healthy. We get old. You got to get healthy. Man. It's a movement.
You too?
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah. So if we at home. Yeah.
So and that's going to be another show we're going to have.
Okay. Talking about.
Yeah. So what you need to do is you have to create a vegan cigar.
Oh, here we go.
They're all vegan.
Here we go.
Free.
My man. There you go.
Because Goose is on the same thing. He eats hummus every
you
day.
like that?
Yeah, he doesn't eat. He stopped
There's
eating.
There's nothing wrong with chickpeas, man.
He you know, I try to bring him brunch and lunch and dinner. I'm just gonna sit here and eat my cracker. Oh, shout out to Joanne. Hey, how you doing, boss?
Saute some good
Nice.
mushrooms.
I hope-
Some sauces, man. It's a whole nother world. But anyway, getting back to you guys. I do. So far, I love this. Hopefully, I get a chance to smoke maybe one or two of your other.
We got everything.
But
You guys are gonna hang out after, aren't you?
yeah.
He's on
Like
punishment.
not being home for
I'm
5
home for
days.
24 hours. I want to hang out.
We're gonna hang out. We're gonna party.
Doing so. I didn't come up here just to
We're
No,
gonna party.
hang out with. I like.
but I do. I love the packaging of your cigars, and it does. It's minimalistic, and I think that's one of the greatest
Oh, great.
qualities.
I
When
see
you-
simple. Like
yeah,
about all the time.
Exactly.
Thank
When
you,
you
minimalist.
can find something like when you see this,
Cigars, yeah.
you just see this.
Right.
That's the best piece of marketing because you're not looking for a whole bunch of other crap. It gets lost in the box or in the packaging. It's very easy to distinguish.
There's beautiful packaging out there, but what is it? What do you call it?
Right.
Besides beautiful.
But when I smoke it, everybody has bought a cigar that looked great. Looked like it was going to be that thing. It was that. And then, after about 3 puffs in, you're like, man, this is darn good. And then you're mad at yourself because you spent whatever you spent for it. And you're like, I'm going to smoke this anyway because it's $40, so I'm going to smoke this damn thing.
So the reason why we have the Undefeated Goats podcast, the Goats are greatest of all time. So when you watch our podcast, Mickey and Mike, everyone who's watching, everything that we say and we talk about, we want people to go out and try and buy
Right, absolutely.
immediately. And we started from zero. We have a great cast. I mean, we got a great, aficionados, and we really enjoy, what we're talking about. We learn.
This is the funnest one. I got more coming up.
Yes.
And this is the funnest one. I just did a bunch of them.
Yeah.
This has been a blast.
Man,
So,
I hope.
They got something.
Well,
to do.
I'm about to unleash these guys. These guys are a great time, man. They're a blast. We really enjoy Sundays. We look forward to Sundays because we not only do we smoke cigars, but we talk cigars, we live cigars, and we really get a chance and opportunity
This might be the best Sunday. I'm gonna get in trouble. This might be the best Sunday. No, I'm not kidding.
Well, put your hands together and make some noise for that. That's what we do, baby. Each and every Sunday, man, we party. We party. So, guys, listen. No. Wait.
We effed with this dude.
What you mean? What's that mean?
We effed with this dude.
What, his wife is right behind you on the right hand side. Just be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice.
Yo, this dude he's the truth.
Okay.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
All right. Well, this is what I want to do. Josh, you listen to me? I'm going to close out, but don't close out. All right. I'm going to close out and then I'm going to unleash the dog. So we're just going to have a good time. We're going to keep it rolling behind the scenes. We're going to smoke All Saints Cigars and we're going to go around and talk cigars and talk whatever. But I'm, yeah. So come on down. So I'm gonna close out, but don't don't close out or whatever the case may be. But we'll keep it rolling, we'll keep it rocking, we'll keep smoking cigars and talking trash and telling lies, man. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Y'all know what it is right here, the Undefeated Ghost, along with Goose Cigar Talk, and in the building today. We got a chance and opportunity with our brothers, our family, coming to right here at Goose's Lounge. We got Mike and Mickey, All Saints Cigars. Put your hands together. Make sure you come out, get your cigars today. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you share the podcast. We'll see you guys on the other side. Yeah, ha, hi. Keep it rolling, Justin. Go ahead. You guys, go ahead, man. Go crazy.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh, okay.
I just had to close out for that. Yeah, we're still live. We're still live. We're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it rolling. Yeah.
And I'm talking shit.
Yeah, you got to. You got to talk shit.
He goes, dude. Well, there's some stuff. He's like, and I was talking like some FDA stuff. What I won't talk about. And he goes, dude, because we don't want to talk too much about that stuff.
Right.
No, because they get win. Like because the definition that we're working on right now is pretty high. It's like Cooper's like, you got what? I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know we were still alive. So what they do is they call it the green room afterwards. So you go to the green room before with just the core guys, the producers, and all that stuff, and then the green room's opened up for the special people. Right. And I'm fine.
So in layman's terms, he's been in the business a long time. He's been a lot of cigar shows. He's telling us that this is one of the funnest and best times he's ever had on the cigar show. Because not only we talk cigars,
this is the vibe I'm telling these other guys to do.
But they won't do it.
There's
Don't
a lot of guys.
don't tell them.
Don't tell him.
Yeah.
No, Reamer does a little bit of a good job. You know, John Reamer.
Yeah.
He does a little bit of. He kind of does it when there's people there and they get involved too. That's
Right.
fun. But it's
Yeah,
like,
when Reamer goes off air too, it gets pretty fun. I've been hanging out with him a lot. But there's a lot of guys that have podcasts now at the garages, at their house, or whatever else.
Oh yeah, but
smart,
when
intelligent.
it
But let me
ask tone and stuff. You gotta
Mike,
cut up.
real quick. Let me ask
Yeah.
you something. I want to get
Sure.
your opinion on this.
Right.
Out of all of us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guess who cusses the most, and guess who's the most wildest out of all of us?
Goose.
Goose, you ain't lying. It's him. It's him. He's the one that starts the shenanigans. He's the one, the first one to cuss. He's the one to start dancing. If I put a song on right now, he'll be the first one up dancing.
Was I getting in trouble?
Smoking cigars. And just to
Was
let you guys
that
know,
bad?
off the record, last week,
because some platforms don't let you do so.
no, we let it go
Not
down here.
you. I'm talking about
Be yourself.
the runway that you work off.
But let me tell you, when you guys left last week, Goose made a phone call. We went back in his office. He gave us All Saints. He said, taste it, smoke it. What do you think? And everybody, round of applause, said, get that cigar inside of here. Put your hands together for that.
Well,
So we already knew this was coming, baby.
So what's interesting about that is, so Kinger and I, one reason for him King is A, I love his work ethic. B, first A, I love that newbie and queen sitting over there. B is I like his work ethic and the way he likes to talk about stuff. I think our minds work alike, but he's not afraid to tell me what's going on. So one of the things, like I was talking about this crew thing, so this would be an interesting, because it's my backyard, we can start piloting that crew because obviously I got to get Wooden Indian involved and a couple of these people that are all good friends. That's one thing I like about the lounge or cash and carry community around here. Everybody supports each other.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the environment I kind of grew up in a retail standpoint, Washington, D.C. So it'll be interesting, formalizing this crew. So we kind of lots of fun with that. And when we go off air, we'll have another conversation. I think we'll be fun for both of us.
I was wondering, if Justin could put a halo over each one. It's All Saints, right?
Yeah.
Saying,
Can
there you
you
go.
put a halo
Yeah.
over each one of our heads over there?
I think he's gonna tell
Give
you.
me the
blow-
horns.
You gotta blow a circle of smoke. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Something will happen if I think I'll put it over me. Yeah.
Truth be told, at this table, I mean, I got 9 years of Catholic school. My
Ain't none of it
birthday-
worked.
My birthday, November 1st, which is All Saints.
All right.
You a Scorpio?
That's right.
Scorpio in the
We
house.
gotta do something here then.
Yeah, All
We
Saints
gotta do
Day.
something here. Put it
Well,
in the books now.
we're trying to. We need to do. So now we're going to do an annual event for Ash Wednesday. Just again, not really. Just a nice play on the words. We're going to start doing like special releases
I'll
on
be
All
here.
Saints Day. And
Yeah.
my 14-year-old daughter that both did, I talked to Flo. I blow his ear up on that 6'1" playing basketball. She's All Souls Day, November 2nd.
Wow, All
Absolutely.
Souls Day.
So I had
And she's my
All
son.
Saints Day and All Souls Day off because that's a
Yeah.
Catholic holiday.
Yeah.
So I never got,
Yeah.
No, we get it off for your
Back
birthday.
in the day, you go, it's your birthday.
I mean, I'm Catholic, but I'm not. But I like the ritual stuff of it.
Right.
If anything, I spent more
The
time
liturgy.
in Daytona Beach. I spent more time, really, because the way I was raised, it wasn't the best. Like, I belong to a country club. I belong to Atlanta Country Club. But if you saw me on a country club when I was a kid, call the police because I was stealing something.
Right.
But I spent more time in the. I was
In the
I was
juvenile
back-
detention center.
Well, the funny thing.
Here you go.
No, I did. Well, if you heard the story earlier, so the Catholic schools wouldn't take me. I was baptized Catholic, and I didn't get confirmed until I went to Catholic University because I figured out how to settle down. But yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time in a Baptist church actually.
I mean,
Well, white Baptist, not I'm like
Oh, y'all wasn't
Well,
getting
yeah.
it in. You
Well,
wasn't.
Mike,
you
I'm-
wasn't seeing a bunch of this.
Mike,
you was seeing
wasn't
this.
doing that.
Y'all wasn't
no.
Mike. Mike, I'm telling you right now, I know it's All Saints, but we got one person that's on this panel that's going straight to hell because
Well, I'm here.
when he gets to the pearly gates,
Well,
he
he,
ain't going
here's
nowhere.
an
This guy
interesting
right
note
here.
about the.
Where your homie at? He still here? He going with you. Oh, it is. They ain't getting it. You got two of them here?
No, you got one more to go.
I don't care. Straight to hell, Mike.
It's funny. The cigar, we talk a lot of Catholic because of the, imagery behind it.
Yeah.
But it transfers all faiths or not
Wait,
faiths.
hold on.
What's up? We gotta get inside.
Oh, yeah, he knocked out. He's asleep.
Oh, all right.
He's asleep.
Give him a cigar. He was calling him.
Hey, maybe he had to come here to take a nap. Let's give him a break.
So,
Let's give him a.
Shout out to Jimbo. Jimbo!
yeah.
It wasn't Jimbo. It's my man over here.
Nah.
Gotta get a
Jimbo.
photo.
Jimbo. No, Jimbo sleeps every day in here. He'll tell you. That's right.
It's the best place right now.
Man down.
This will go down as the worst interview in history. I put a guy to sleep.
What we need to do is everybody go stand by him with the cigar and then take a
A picture
There you go.
and a GoPro.
That's actually pretty nice compared to what a lot of other people do.
Right.
We're still live. I want to keep it. You know what I'm saying?
No hanging
I
brain.
wanna
No
keep
hanging
this
brain.
off of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is a disclaimer. I'll put it out there. Hey, if you are a cigar store in the tri-state area, Philly, Jersey, Delaware, even down to Atlanta, make sure you go and you hit up Mike today in order to get these awesome cigars inside of your lounge. Just give him a call. Look at right there the website. You can hit him on the website. Make sure that you go and leave your location, leave your address, leave your contact number. And first thing tomorrow, Mike will give you a call and hit you back. Get All Saints in your stores, your cigars, lounges right now today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for that, all right?
All right. Hey, you said Atlanta. What, you got a lot of friends down there?
Yeah, well.
So my
Panda.
No,
I
my
got
partner,
hoes in
Frank
Atlanta.
Leo, he lives in Black Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah, so he kind of works those shops. We don't really have a broker.
So explain to people what Black Hollywood.
Yeah, Black
is.
Hollywood.
No,
Explain
you
that.
don't explain it a little. You got some explaining to do, Lucy.
Yeah. Mike, you don't say nothing right now. Just chill.
Explaining to do.
Don't say nothing.
Why,
Let Mickey.
why it's called Black Hollywood?
Why is it called?
Because of all the production, all the
That's
great
what I'm saying. You got to
producers and all the writers
That's
that
what I
are-
was trying to get out of you.
Well, there's actually production going on. It's
Well, we know that.
all the,
Tyler
that's going
Perry
on.
popped
Tyler Perry, right? Exactly.
Yeah, well, there's some places my wife won't let me go there.
Well, what,
Like
Magic
that
City?
that quarterback's house.
Oh yeah.
It's Sunday. I can't talk about it.
Yeah. Shout out to
So he's down there. And
Fellowship.
It's funny. is one of our
Most famous
favorite brands that
representative.
we're friends with is ATL. Have you ever tried ATL yet?
But they're all
They're hyper regional
they're
right now
massive.
down there.
Mhm.
They're going out. Luciano,
I put a lot of
who
money
owns
into the
Ace Prime and Picardo Factory, which is putting out a lot of great stuff. They're one of their hot cigars called ATL. Look at it. Look it up. They're great guys. Matter of fact, the head guy, one of the head guys over there, when Frank and we're talking about something that could be fun, but it
That'd be
would be
good.
specific for that area.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand
Yeah.
a lot of the progressiveness. That
Jess, I need to go,
happened
pro.
down in Atlanta for the last
Please,
30,
real quick.
30 years,
30 plus.
35 years.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Stay live.
But it's not just black. the
I-
white
No, it's
folks-
everybody. But the whole thing is that you have a lot of people working, living, and eating together,
Yeah.
right? So it's that. But I mean, on the outside of Atlanta, it's something different still.
Yeah.
But on the inside, you have your whole East Coast came down there.
Tremendous
Migrated.
amount of shops out there.
Yeah,
It's a very,
I say,
it's a very weird
I
area.
always say Baltimore is the second largest black cigar lounge city next to Atlanta.
right.